We'll jump in and review the number sequences that you assign to your projects. So let's discuss some things to remember about project numbering. The first thing is that the number sequence for a project's ID can be manual or automatic. What I would recommend is automatic, and here's the reason. When you actually create a project, there's logic to prevent duplicates with sub-projects kept in mind. So if you create a project with the number P100 and then downstream you try and create a project with the manual number of P1000, the system will block this entry with the error project number conflicts with project number P100, and AX tries to reserve values to take into account these sub-projects that could potentially be created. So if you use manual numbering, you better know what the logic's going to be looking for, or you're going to run into some problems. So that's why I always suggest automatic. The other thing to remember too is that the project numbering out of the box only has a 20 character limit. So when you're setting up your initial number sequence, make sure you're taking into account that you could have sub-projects as a prefix after the number that you're setting up. Characters can be included in your project numbering, so just remember that, and we'll take a look at that here shortly. And remember your sub-project format. So that goes back to the depth bullet. Basically, just keep in mind that you have sub-projects potentially. And then the all projects list page sort order. So what that means is when you're actually setting up your projects, the numbering, the way that it sorts it is not or not alpha, I was going to say alphabetic, but not sequential based on the number. It's alphabetic. So you can see on the left side, if you set up your project numbering to be project 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 20, that's the way that you'd want it displayed in what order you want. But here's the actual sort order that the project management and accounting module would show. 1, and then 10, then 11, then 2, 20, 3, and then if there is a 30, 31, 32, that would fall in there. So it doesn't order it the way that a lot of you would expect. So you can help the cause by using leading zeros, etc. All right, let's jump into the application and take a look at setting up some number sequences. All right, welcome back. We are going to play with the project numbering or the project ID for a little bit here. So we're back in the workspace homepage, and I'm going to jump over to the project parameters, which is found under project management and accounting module, setup, and then project management and accounting parameters, first one in the list there. So the first thing that we need to note is in the company that I'm in, the sub-project ID format is --##. So any ID that we define is going to have 3 numbers tacked on or any sub-project that we define is going to have 3 numbers tacked onto the back of whatever number sequence we define here. So when you're creating a new project, it's going to define an ID, and it's needs to be hooked up to a number sequence code. So if we go look at this number sequence code, you can see that what it normally sits at in the demo data is just all the pound signs, meaning just numeric. What I did is I added a constant. So to add a constant, you can just add a part to the segment, change it to a constant, and put P on there. Once you do that, you can see here's the format that it's going to number it. It's going to do P, and then 000000001 would be the first number in there. But down here, we actually have, under the general tab, we have what our next value is going to be. So it's going to be 149. You have the option of making your number sequences manual as well. And now the project ID, the reason I'm calling this out is it's one of the few places that I know of in AX where there's actually logic around what number you can use. Normally, you can do a manual number sequence and type in whatever number you want, and it's okay. Well, projects have that sub-project ID or that sub-project ID format in play, so there is some logic. So if we flip this thing to manual and we save, and now we go try and create a new project, let's go to the all projects list page, and I'm just going to create a new one. And you can see the project ID is now wanting me to enter a value, and if I put in like P200 and pick a project group, pick a contract, and the rest I'll leave alone, and I hit create, it's got no problem doing this. But now if I try and create another project and we try and call it, I don't know, P2000, and I'm going to name it. You don't need to name it. You can name it afterwards. And I'll just pick a new contract ID and hit OK. It's going to go, nope, sorry. This P2000 conflicts with P200. And the reason being is because you can adjust this subproject ID format at any time, and eventually they're going to become duplicate IDs. So it prevents you from doing or creating bogus IDs ahead of the game, we'll call it. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to adjust my number sequence back to automatic, which is the suggested route. So we uncheck that. And now 149 should be our next number. And if you have all those leading zeros, which is what you'll see here shortly, you shouldn't have any problems when it comes to numbering. So now you can see there's 149. And yeah, we should be good to go from here. So I just wanted to discuss the logic around the numbering, and the recommended approach is to keep it automatic due to that logic, unless you want to maintain your project ID and just be aware that there could be conflictions when it comes to sub-projects and that type of scenario. All right.